Let's go fishing. I'm on a mission. It's so pretty, I'd sure hate to waste this chance. We'll find us a shady little spot, not too cool, not too high.
There, we'll give you on the end of it. Ricky had a good morning this morning. Got a limit, and all of them's nice, really nice fish. You know, yeah, just got a good limit this morning, guys. Just they were hitting, they were biting. We started right off at daylight and started catching them right at daylight, guys. Yep, Ricky put them in the boat, man. Ricky put them in the boat this morning. So, yep.
Well, guys, it was another beautiful morning on Lake Okeechobee. We got started out this morning, got the poles out, and started up there with the MAFIA rods and the MAFIA tackle and suffix line. And next thing you know, we started putting fish in the boat. Ricky was he'd never done it, but he was a natural. I mean, he just picked it up. Of course, he had to go caught a lot of fish in it, and you know. And it wasn't about an hour, half hour, he was on it, man. He was dragging them in. And again, we didn't have to measure any of them. He got a limit today, but we did not have to measure any of the fish because they were all really nice fish. And fat. They're really fat. I cleaned them for him, and most of them had eggs in them, so, you know, big old females. But you can see it's a beautiful morning.
Take your time.
No wind. We didn't have any wind. Now, we quit about 11:30 and the wind started picking up pretty good there. But I don't know. We threw back. We kept a limit, but he threw back probably, I don't know, several fish. I mean, several keepers. But when I take one person, we just keep one limit. But they've got a new bait out that I'm going to show you. I'm going to start using a good bit. It's made by GARRAD. I think GARRAD tackle, and it's like a Roadrunner kind of thing, but it's got two spinners on both sides of it, like the Horticator. And we used that and a MAFIA twister tail. Now they call it brush problem twister tails, I guess. Now we used that and caught them on it. A lot of them come on, you know, pink and chartreuse. Pink was the color, it seemed like this morning. It was the color yesterday. And I told Ricky, I said, we'll just start out what we was catching them with yesterday with Johnny, you know. And it did. It worked. I mean, right off the bat. And you can see we're right in the middle of the river. I mean, them big fish are right in the middle of the river. They're all up on the bank. That's from the Lawrence target, and if you had a Garmin live scope, it just kept us in the fish, fellas. It just that live target and live scope just kept us in the fish, you know, all morning. I just turned around, went back into them, you know, just kept going back and forth in them, you know. But you can see the sun coming up there in the back. Once that sun got up over the horizon, I mean, it was blinding. Of course, you know, this time of the year, the sun's pretty low in the sky, you know, in the wintertime. But, yeah, it was blinding. We had 3 on at a time sometime this morning. That's how good it was. We, you know, 2 and 3 on a time. We got some tangles from it. When you get 3 fish on at one time, you're going to get some tangles, you know. That's just the way it is. They're going to go back and forth. You can see the size of them. They're nice. Look at them MAFIA rods, how we never lost a fish because them MAFIA rods are designed especially for trolling. I'm telling you, them two brothers that designed these rods, they knew what they was doing. Because you see how they bend all the way, and then when they get down there about the last eye, they get a little bit of support there to bring them up. Most other rods, when you pick them, you know, 1.5 pound, 2 pound crappie up, they're going to break. I tell you right now, but not the MAFIA rods. I mean, when they hit, I mean, that's, you know, they set the hook on themselves.
That outside pole. I seen him hit it about 3 times before he took it. You know, Ricky. I was sitting there watching. I seen.
Yeah, I kept Ricky busy this morning. I mean, me and Live Target, Live Target kept us in the fish.
Kept pecking at it. Fish on, fish on.
There you can see the sun coming through the trees there, boys. Getting ready to get blinding here in a minute. Now we've seen several pontoon boats up there anchored with poles out too, and they were catching them. I talked to one guy there, and they had like a dozen there in a couple of hours, and then I seen Mr. Richard. He was jigging along the side, and he was getting some dandies too. So, you know, the crappie are doing their thing again. It's warmed up a little bit, and the crappie's turned on. Now we did talk to some bass fishermen, and they were not catching anything. I mean, the bass fishermen were not catching anything. But I was watching some young boys yesterday, and I don't know if I told you yesterday, but them college boys we seen 3 or 4 different boats, and them boys was throwing they was throwing a frog going 100 mile an hour in that 50-some degree water, and I thought, boys, you're just spinning your wheels in that cold weather, that cold water, throwing them real fast baits. I mean, them you're gonna have to. You know, that water's cold like that. You're gonna drop it right on their nose. Now, normally here in Florida, you can do that, but not when it got down to 30 degrees at night there. For a few nights back here in 40 degrees, you cannot do that. I mean, it's just, you know, look at the size of them crappie. I mean, that's big crappie, I'm telling you. 13, 14 inches, some of them, you know. They're pushing 2 pounds. Some of them's pushing 2 pounds.
I think you hit that one in his head. Fish on, fish on. This is another good one, guys.
Again, guys, Mafia twister tails and Mafia rods, and I was using Suffolk's 4-pound test line. Suffolk seems like they're lighter line, 4-pound and 6-pound tests, even though it's a smaller diameter. It's a little bit tougher than the other lines. I always use different other lines, but that Suffolk's is just a little bit tougher. It kind of reminds me a little bit between a fluorocarbon and monofilament. I mean, that's how good it is. Yeah, we made short order of getting the limit. It didn't take long, and we just started fishing for fun, you know. And we threw back a bunch of them. When we first started out this morning, before that sun came up over that tree line right there, they were on bottom, so I was going just barely moving to try to keep them Mafia spinners down. And once that sun comes up, it's pretty crazy, man. Them fish will come right up, you know, in 15 foot of water. They'll come up to about 3 foot of water. They're just barely under the surface of the water, and I speed it up a little bit and get back up in them, and then we get back. You know, back to catching, but you know, it's don't take long. I mean, right at daylight, or right before daylight, they're right on bottom. But then after that sun comes up, you would think it's the exact opposite. But I think that sun warms the water up, and they get back up in their comfort zone.
Dingling's the best. It really is. Pogies is all right, but
Ricky down here, he's retired logger. He lives in North Carolina, and he's been in the logging business for 42 years, and he finally retired, and I guess he sold all of his equipment, and he's going to start fishing more, which that's a good deal. Yeah, again, look at the size of them crappie. Pound and a half or more, you know what I'm saying? pretty nice crappie.
Pogies, you know, Pogies does good business.
What about for dinner?
For dinner, I go down to that Parrot Inn once in a while and eat there, you know, or Parrot, whatever. But shoot, if you want to go, they got a good golden corral here, but which I like smallmouth. You know, I miss catching smallmouth back home because what they fight, you know what I'm saying? It's real slow, really.
Yeah, I had to adjust my speed and stuff for them because we found some. We catch one here and one there, but we found a dip. I was watching Lawrence live target. We found a dip that was about, I don't know, 15, 20 yards long and on that thing. And that fish were just stacked up in there. So we'd just go down there about 50 yards below it and turn around, come right back up in it. And it didn't take no time to get a limit of fish. So, but it was pretty early, so we just continued to fish and just throw them back. You know, we'd throw them back and yeah, you get a double whammy from that sun. You get the sun, then you get a reflection off the water. You can see there, it'll burn you. It'll burn you. It'll give you a sunburn real quick. Now there it's comfortable. I mean, we got the sun to our back, and we're trolling up through there, and it's right before the sun really gets up high. It's not really bright. All the vitamin D you want down here in Florida, I can tell you, with that old sun, you know. It's kind of funny. We were watching the end of them poles, and what they would do is some of them would come up like they were biting on a mini. They'd come up here and hit that thing, and they'd come back up and hit it again, and then they'd come up and grab it. It's like a lot of them you wouldn't just come up and grab it, like they'd come up and just hit it, and then about 3 times, and then they'd just grab it and just take it back. He's like Johnny, though. He thought he was snagged a few times and had them big old crappie on. It wasn't a snag. It was them big crappie. It just stops them baits dead in their tracks, you know. When you get about 1.5 pound, 2 pounder on there, you can't move it. Again, I didn't take my net. I forgot my net. But we didn't lose no fish. You know, we still, you know. You can see how they jumped. They jumped like a bass. I mean, them big ones like that, and they bore down in the water, and they'll come up and jump like a bass. It's actually a fight. I mean, a fight to it with them MAFIA rods. It's just I'm grabbing them fish up. They're still cold. They're pretty cold. Them Millennium rod holders back there I got 4 of them on my boat, on my deck of my boat, and they're really handy.
Seen him where they can. You gotta bring him all the way out. If he goes out all the way out, just kind of bring your pole out towards You were right there, yeah, just kind of bring them up between them lines.
Getting the old GoPro out and getting ready to shoot some with the GoPro too.
There you go. There you go.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's what they call them tournaments. That's the ones they want to catch in the